Thank you so much. Gosh, it's good to see you. Legion M. It's interesting company. Let me tell you a story. Oh, no. And it'll take about a half hour. I did an album when I was shooting, I guess, Star Trek, come to think of it. And a company came up to me and said, would I do an album? I feel so removed from the audience. So they said, would you do an album? So I did an album, and it was called The Transformed Man. And what I thought would be interesting was to have a concept, a literary element to the album, and do speeches from To Be or Not to Be, To Be or Not to Be, Hamlet. And that would segue into a song like It Was a Very Good Year, and then that song. The songs of that time. So I did something from Cyrano de Bergerac, and one of the speeches ends, I may climb to no great heights, but I will climb alone. And then I segued musically into a drug song, which you can't climb alone because you need the drugs. I thought it was really good. So now I'm on the Johnny Carson show, and the record is, I love the word, the record is dropped, and so I'm doing publicity, and I'm on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and I'm in rehearsal, and I do, I may climb to no great height, but I will climb alone, and segue the song, Lucy the Sky with Diamonds. And the producer comes up to me and says, hey, that's 6 minutes long. You can only do 3 minutes. Do you want to do the literary thing, or do you want to do the song? I said, well, I don't know. I'll do the song. So now I'm in front of millions of people, and I'm doing, Lucy the Sky with Diamonds. I'm doing what I did. I look over at Johnny Carson, and he's going, so the record died. I mean, it was laughed at. So years later, Ben Folds, yes? Ben Folds hears it. He doesn't need applause now. He's like a genius. And he hears it, and he calls me. I'd like to work with him. I work with him. I do it. And now I'm back in the music career. And I can't sing. That's the thing. I can't sing. It was terrible. But I wanted to make music. But I understand the onomatopoeia of the English language, the rhythm, the meaning, and the poetry of English. So I began to work with musicians and put out a number of albums. To the point that last year, or this year at the beginning, Ben Folds calls and says, would you like to sing with a 70-piece orchestra at the Kennedy Center? Perfect, because I just had put out an album called Bill, which is out there now, and we had a lot of songs left over because we enjoyed the songwriting process so much. We chose 6 songs, Robert Chernow, Dan Miller, and I, chose 6 songs to sing, to perform at Kennedy Center. And it went so well that we filmed it, and we made an album of it. We've got a television show of it, and there was one song that everybody loved, and it was we called it So Fragile, So Blue, about this trip I took into space and how I realized more than ever, dramatically realized what we were doing to the earth, and we wrote a song about it, and it's like a great song. And so Legion M, with whom I had been with, said we would like to do that. We'd like to produce it, the documentary of the whole performance of the performance at the Kennedy Center, represent the album, and let's make, I've forgotten, whose suggestion was it? Let's make a music video of So Fragile, So Blue, and in our fantasy, in our imagination, So Fragile, So Blue will become like a rallying cry, the way We Are the World everybody began to sing because of the cause. So fragile, so blue in our fantasy is a rallying cry to help save the world. So here we are, Legion M and me.
All right.
So we're going to, the way that we're going to do this is pretty casual. We're going to take a few questions from the audience. Stephen Craver, Glickman, Gustavo from Big Time Rush is in the audience. Are you here, Stephen? Where are you? Raise your hand.
Over here.
There he is.
I'm here.
We're going to take a few questions, and then we're going to give you a little sample of Bill's upcoming documentary. You'll also see maybe a little bit of So Fragile, So Blue, and then we'll take a few more questions. So, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
Is there somebody near you who
There's
has
a fella right
something
here.
to say to William Shatner?
All right, you got one?
Hello, William. I want to ask, after all these years, what do
oh, there you go. Okay, start again.
I gotta ask, what do Trekkies mean to you, and what makes them special from other fandoms, the Star Trek fandom?
Wait. Did anybody understand that question?
What do Star Trek fans mean to you?
Wait a minute. No.
I'm going to get him to...
What are you, an interpreter? I speak English.
Oh, my God. You want to try one more time?
Try one more time.
Here we go.
Hello. What makes Trekkies special to you?
Oh, they're here. But you know, it's true. I mean, a Trekkie. I hate that term actually. Those people who are in love with Star Trek and watched it and admire the show, of which I am one. I got into an argument yesterday about science fiction and the existence of religion, and it was like there's no argument in my mind. There's no argument. Science fiction, of which Star Trek was a great proponent, is our imagination of what exists out there. Obviously, nobody knows. So scientists, great scientists like Stephen Hawking, have a theory. Oh, black holes. I think there's things called black holes because Einstein's theory suggests that there are black holes, and I think there are black. And I'm going to find all the information I can to support that thesis. And then they find ways of supporting it. And if they get enough support, then more people believe. And then they begin to believe there are black holes. And then one day, we discover there are black holes. We can see them. Stephen Hawking was right. Science fiction writers do the same thing. They take some concept in science, something weird, and write a whole story about it. It's their thesis. If there were more scientists involved, they might prove whatever that imaginary element was, prove it true. It could be, because so many scientists have written science fiction. There's no argument in my mind between religion, the belief in God, and science and science fiction, because it's all a miracle. It's all miraculous. The Webb telescope, looking far out as it is and going to, is going to reveal more of the miracles of space and time, of which we know nothing. When you think that the universe is coated in what we call dark matter, 90% or 95%, we don't know anything. We don't know what dark matter is, and the universe is expanding. It should be contracting according to the laws of gravity. It's not. There's so much that is mysterious. You can call it God, you can call it science, you can call it science fiction. The whole thing is just wondrous because it's imaginative.
All right, we have a question over here from Laura. Laura has a question.
Hi, Hi, Mr. Shatner. How you doing?
Good. Yourself, Laura.
Pretty good.
Right into the microphone. Put that microphone. There you go.
Hi.
There you
I'm
go.
pretty good. My question, besides how you were, was how was it going up into space?
How was it up in space? So the question is this. Should I go into the detail? Because it was an enormous experience for me. But we have so much material here to say, because when I'm asked a question, I don't have time to really answer it. Exciting, empty, wonderful, wondrous, and then move on to what's for dinner. But a more lengthy answer, a briefer answer than what I usually give, but more extensive than exciting, is I read Rachel Carson's book, The Silent Spring, 60 years ago. She was writing about DDT, but had reference to the oncoming tsunami of what we all are facing in terms of global warming. She warned us then, 60 years ago, and I fell under that spell. And I've been an ecologist and preaching these things that we all now know long time ago. And so I've been aware of how ominous our condition is in the world. Now I'm up there. And I'm looking through the window and I'm seeing the black of space. And it's not filled with galaxies and twinkling stars and masses of dust, stardust. You don't see that from where I was. What you see is nothing. It's black, it's implacable, and it's cold. It's death. I saw death. And when I looked back and I saw Earth with its beige desert colors and the whiteness of the clouds and the blue of the air, of the refractive air, I saw life. And then my next thought was, it's taken 5.8 billion years for all of us and all the things on our beautiful earth to evolve. It's taken all this time for life in all its mystical, magical, numerous forms. I saw film of worms and clams living in 600 degrees Fahrenheit water, right at the bottom of the ocean. I know that there are bacteria in rocks that come from outer space. There's stuff that's alive in the freeze of space. Life is burgeoning everywhere. Life demands to exist. And the life that is demanded to exist here on Earth, filling every crevice, every niche, slime that has intelligence enough to aim for the sun, slime is alive. And then you get to what we are supposed to be the highest evolution of life, with our wars and our hatreds and our jealousies mixed in with our beautiful desire to know more, to bear witness to the beauty of the universe. And things are going extinct. Things that have evolved for 5.8 billion years are going extinct. And we don't know what they are because we've never seen them. Things, beautiful, sacred things on earth are disappearing. And we don't know what they are. We don't know where they came from. That magical thing, that everything that exists on earth is magical. And all that magic is disappearing in front of our eyes. That's what I saw.
in space. And that's what I was mourning when I came down. And I said, apparently, because I didn't know what I was saying when I landed, I don't want ever to forget what it is I saw and felt. And I've been talking about this since I landed. It's not that for the first time, it's just dramatically. I saw this little rock. I saw the outlines of the rock. I could go like that and do the circumference of the Earth. And then you look out into the vastness of space. Unlimited. 13.8 billion years ago, there's a galaxy out there that the Hubble saw. What will the Webb see? Going 100 times further. I mean, the universe is limitless. We can't even begin, our little reptilian brains, to imagine the magic, the mystery of space. That's what I saw when I came down to Earth.
Everyone, this is sort of a perfect time to give you a little taste of the documentary that we're doing because of the last question. Could you cue that up? The Alexander O'Philippe, our director, is going to give a little message, and then we're going to play a clip.
Greetings, Los Angeles Comic Con. I'm Alexander Philippe. I'm the director of the upcoming documentary You Can Call Me Bill.
Make some statement about working with Mr. Shatner.
Yeah, sure. That's so. What you saw there is some of the footage that we captured, and we're working with Alexander O'Philippe, who's an amazing, award-winning documentary filmmaker. This all started when we met Bill and he joined our advisory board probably a little bit over a year ago, and when we had the opportunity to sit down and get a chance to know him, what we realized is that he is so much cooler in person than he is on TV. And we wanted to give people a taste of it. So Bill agreed to do it. We found an amazing documentary filmmaker. And one thing that's really interesting about this film is that it will be entirely owned by fans. We're funding it, and you can learn more about that on the Legion M website. But I think it's so powerful that Bill really wanted this as a project to be owned by fans. And you know what he's saying is 100%. Every time we're on the phone, every time there's a decision to be made, it's all about the fans. It's all about evangelizing this message, and it's figuring out how we can collectively unite to change the world.
Well, it's just that when I met the guys, these three gentlemen, they're so bright and so creative. And the concept behind Legion M is, you guys you know what crowdfunding is. Well, this is not crowdfunding. This is, you give your money, you own a piece of the company. If the documentary or the film that you invest in makes money, you make money. You own it. So it isn't give us some money and we'll make a film and you'll be happy to see it because you gave your $100. No, you're part of Legion M. And I thought, what a great concept. The fans become part of the process. So there is the documentary of the performance, the album of the performance, and they're making a documentary about me, a biographical documentary. So there's two documentaries and an album and a music video as well. Not to confuse you about what you own, which documentary you own. Why don't you clear that up?
It's a biographical documentary.
Right.
That's the first one that we're doing. We're in post-production on it. The scene that you saw is from that documentary, and that's the one that fans will own. Fans will be the first in line to get money as we monetize that film, even before William and Legion M take any money from the project, and then we're gonna share the proceeds.
Before we get paid, the investors get paid.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
what we're doing.
Yeah, we're trying to redefine what it means to be a shareholder and an investor in entertainment. And one thing I want to add in, and part of our motivation and inspiration is, as Jeff mentioned, as we got to know Bill, we really were completely and utterly inspired by you. And one of the questions I have, and you've answered this before, and I think it's so fantastic. I mean, I don't know that I believe him. I feel like Bill found the Fountain of Youth somewhere, and I'm hoping that he shares.
Yes, I'm crowdfunding the Fountain of Youth.
The Fountain of Youth. But Bill does more in an average day than anyone else I know. I mean, what time did you get home last night? After midnight.
Well, I got to bed about 1:30 this morning.
Yeah, 1:30, but he's back here on stage. And, one of the things I've heard you talk about, like what keeps you young and energized? And it's your passion and your curiosity. And I'm so unbelievably inspired by that. And I think that's a big part of what the documentary will reveal as well.
Great. This book I've got out there now, Bold to Go, talks about that. About the adventures and the concept that the universe, if you can vibrate in tune with the universe, which I guess is like an ancient philosophy. I thought, I've just discovered something. Vibrate in tune with the universe. Oh, that's what religion is all about.
Yeah.
That's what mankind has been doing since the dawn of mankind. I just got it. You mean there's fire? Yes. Oh, I got fire. Yeah, so that curiosity, that passion for life, we should. I mean, it's magical. Look at us here. We're gathered here in this gigantic hall, and we're like all together. What?
They love you.
He's pretending he doesn't hear you.
You love me. I love you. But for how long will our affair go on? We good?
So we're gonna go back and take some more questions.
All right, we got one right here. Tell me your name. It's Michael. All right, Michael, what is your question? Good morning, Mr. Shatner.
Right in there, Mike. A little loud.
A little louder? All right. What can we as fans do to get you back in the captain's chair?
Money. No, so I did 6 movies, or 7. Anyway, they've written my demise, okay? And so I'm dying. Captain Kirk is dying. And I ad-libbed. Captain Kirk, whenever he saw a strange monster, instead of going, oh shit, he went, oh, look at that. I mean, I acted like, wow, how strange and wonderful. So as he's dying, I thought, Kirk would look at death and say, wow. And I ad-libbed, oh my. But it didn't come out quite when I saw it. I had more, in my mind, oh my, like, oh, wow, I see now. Apparently, what's his name, the drug guy, the great drug.
Timothy Leary?
Timothy Leary takes his last, this is what they said. Timothy Leary took his last breath and said, of course. What did he see? What did he see? We don't know. Steve Jobs, his wife or daughters reported his last words. Steve Jobs of Apple invented the telephone, the thing.
It feels like it.
He said, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow, 3 times. I mean, did he have to go to the bathroom? I mean, we don't know. What did he see? So Captain Kirk went, oh my, oh my. What did Captain Kirk see? So the moment that scene was over, I jumped up And I said to the producer, who was now producing all of Star Trek, okay, I've written a book about him coming back. And he said, sorry, Bill, we're putting the Next Generation cast in because Star Trek cost about $30 million to make and brought in about $100 million, which is very close to that rule of thumb of making 3 times the amount of money you invest, 3 times the amount of money the film costs is what you should make to where you begin to show profit. So they would make a limited, Paramount would make a limited amount of money on our films. And invariably, all of the movies that our cast made $100 million. So they thought, well, we'll put the Next Generation cast in there, and we're paying them a hell of a lot more money than they paid us. Surely their movies would make more than it didn't. Then J.J. Abrams got a hold of it, and he knew how to make it a big blockbuster, and so his movies made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. He knew the secret, which we thought was all about stories, which was what Star Trek, which was the Star Trek I made, was all about. He was thinking stories and largesse, and that was the answer. So what would it take to get me back? How would I come back? It was 60 years ago. What happened in that? I mean, people are like, Jesus, look at it. I go on stage. Somebody plays a clip of me as Captain Kirk, and then I come on stage, and I know when I'm in person, the grandmother says to the grandchild, hey, there's Mr. Shatner, there's William Shatner, Captain Kirk, and the kid's looking around for Captain Kirk. You know how embarrassing that is? When the guy said we're going to play a clip, I said, I'm not watching. I can't stand to look at myself. I mean, you look at old pictures of yourself and think, my God, did I look like that? That's how I feel about looking at myself now. So, I don't think I could ever come back. But maybe J.J. Abrams can think of a magical thing and I would do it.
It's science fiction, right?
Yeah, but up to a point. There's only so much your imagination can encompass. You mean Captain Kirk looks like that now?
I don't know. Indiana Jones looks like that.
Who?
Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones. He's...
Yeah, but he's good looking.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, no, but I really mean that. He's a terrific guy. Okay, that's your answer.
Keep going.
Maybe ever, never, ever.
All right. Well, I think you look fantastic. Come on, everybody. You're a beautiful man.
You're talking to the chosen few.
All right, we got a question from Eugene. Eugene, make it a good one.
Hello, Mr. Shatner.
Hi, Eugene.
I was wondering, what was it like to work on The Twilight Zone?
Wow.
That's what I'm
I'm constantly amazed. Twilight Zone was made before Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So what, like, don't even hear this figure. Like 70 years ago, I made a half-hour film, 2 half-hour films. And miraculously, they live on. Why they live on? I have no idea. I'm looking at myself when I was 25 or something. I don't care what. Why would anybody want to watch me 70 years later? I don't know. But every time they have a marathon of Twilight Zone. So what is it? Well, you guys have an answer as to why people want to see a half-hour film of me or anybody for that matter?
Well, I think it's...
What? What was that? Because of you. Yeah. Well, there must be some realistic answer that I don't know. I think it's like, no, I just got off an airplane a few hours ago, and that one I went by.
That one went by. What was that about the wing? You talking?
That's what I'm getting to. So every so often, I look out the window.
And I look, I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking at the clouds or the sky, and I look back over there, and there's something going, oh. I used to play that game with my kids. When they were young enough to accompany me on a trip, I'd look out the window. I'd say, go get the stewardess. Go get the
Flight attendant.
The flight attendant. And my kids would get the flight attendant. I'd say, yes, can I help you? And I'd go.
He still got it.
Got it. I think that goes to our universal fear of flying. But.
Well, also, you worked with some great science fiction authors. Twilight Zone had
the Twilight Zone, the great authors, which continue to write the science fiction films and then did a lot of Star Treks. That's where it's at. The word is always the word. What do you say? What's the plot? What is universally? What's in our brains that we don't even know? That's what our stories should appeal to.
All right, well, we have a question over here. Over here, guys. Over here, we have a question from Noel. Noel, what is your question?
Live long and prosper, Mr. Shatner.
Well, I've done one.
I have a question. What was it like working with TJ Hooker?
What was TJ Hooker like? I love doing TJ Hooker. I love cops. Policemen are getting a bad rap these days, but you got to admit, their job, which they do invariably, with some remote exceptions, you're running away from whatever it is, their job, and they're human beings, remember, running towards. So, policemen have an incredibly interesting job. They're dealing with people in all their agony. And many policemen that I have worked with and I know are consumed by their job and the things they do to help people. All that makes the news, you don't hear about those brave guys. All you hear about are the exceptions to the rule. Cops are really wonderful. I love being, and I love taking the tests, and I went to the academy here in wherever it is, and somewhere near the baseball stadium, and I loved being a part of it. It was wonderful, and I went to the range and I shot guns and I did, and learned the philosophy. One moment that I see vividly now, that I for some reason has never escaped my brain, and because I meet so many people and do a large variety of things, everything goes out the window except I'm on stage. Oh yeah, did you remember? No, I don't remember quite where it was and what I did. But this moment in shooting T.J. Hooker downtown here on a Friday night, we would work late Friday nights because you could work as late as you needed to on a Friday night because the unions allowed it. You couldn't work late on a Thursday night because you had to be there 6 or 7 o'clock Friday morning. But Friday night you could work late because you had Saturday and Sunday off. So now it's late Friday night, downtown LA. And in those years, and I presume it's the same now, it's a tricky place to be. You don't want to be there alone. And of course we weren't alone. There was a crowd, not unlike you are here, watching us film. And that time somebody was knifed in the people watching. And the police, we had police around us, of course. They were busy solving that out. But so now the evening was over, and I got into a limo. They give you a limo to take you home. So I'm downtown LA among people who are starving and around looking for a place to sleep, and I get in a limo. I get in the limo and I'm driving away, and over a street light, so the light is formed a cone like this, and in that cone of light, I see a policeman with his hand resting on his holster. He hasn't drawn the gun, but he's in that pose there. And on the other side of him is a bad guy looking like that. And the two, the force of bad and the force for good, it was like a painting. That overhead light of the lamp, of the street lamp. I still picture it. Like, who's the artist who painted the lonely people at the cafe? Hopper.
My favorite artist.
Hopper painted that Nighthawk. I saw Nighthawk, a Hopper painting, in a different way. And that was T.J. Hooker to me.
I think we've got time. I got one more question. Here we go. It's okay. Do we have time for one more?
I think this is it.
All right, here we go. This is Julian. Julian has a question.
Hi, Julian. Right into the mic there.
Okay, so I know Star Trek stories are a lot about explorations and about the next generation. Me as a student, me looking at this strange new world, looking into the stats, looking into the society, I feel like I'm sort of lost. I would like to ask Captain, where shall we go? So, Captain, if you have one word to say to the next generation, to the students, what would you say?
I would say that's the longest question I've ever heard. What was the question? What was the question? Don't be shy. It's difficult to hear.
The question is, what shall, for the students of this next generation of people,
not the next generation show.
No.
The next generation of her generation.
Human beings.
Okay,
yes.
got it.
Where shall they go, any direction from the captain?
The future is so profound. What's in store for you is either greatness of the scientists and the burgeoning knowledge and the desire to learn, and the instruments to make that happen are happening all around us. The future is incredible for you and your youthful compatriots. There's only one thing in the way, and that is global warming. And you and your wonderful people of your age and generation are left to deal with it. We've kicked the can down the road. We've had this burden, and all that we adults have done is said, let's go to the movies. You're facing the music. Once we get past this thing, and what is it? Is it an invention of taking carbon dioxide out of the air? I mean, it's simple as it sounds simple. There's a machine in Norway that does that, but you need extraordinary volumes. But the humanity that have invented this microphone and that telephone can invent anything. Anything you can imagine, we can do. So we can imagine a future with beauty and peace. But you have to do it. Once you've done that, mankind is free to do what science fiction offers you in terms of how beautiful the future can be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for William Shatner.
We're going to do a picture going this way, so any of you want to stay.
We're going to do a giant selfie with Bill and everybody, so come on in, get in the photo.
Yeah, you get way over to the side. 6'8".
I created a character in honor of you. Damn it, I don't think you heard it. This is it! This is it!
Woo! Everybody hands up!
Hands up! Hands up!
Thank you, guys.
Bill. Thank you. Captain! I wanted to tell you I created a character in honor of you to give you a great sign.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.